today, and now you feel fat today also. You're welcome. And now there's a podcast.
I feel like I can ask you anything and you don't get offended.
No. I actually, the most offensive thing is people thinking I'm gonna be offended by something.
I feel like are unoffendable.
Well, yeah. Well, I think a part of it too is like I'd be a giant hypocrite because, like, I mean, with podcasting standards, like you say crazy shit. Mm-hmm. So it would be just, I feel like I'd be such a hypocrite to like just turn and be like, hey, no, not anymore.
That's my boundary.
Yeah, but I remember, I think my offended thing is like patronizing people thinking I'm offended. Like I had a podcast and this guy was like ripping into me and we're friends. Mm-hmm. And then Jess Levin, you know Jess?
Yeah.
Jess was like, hey, go easy on him. I was like, hey, no, you. I was like, you, stop.
Get the fuck out. No, I love Jess. She's great. Friend of the pod. Awesome. Yeah. So you're also an open book. You'll talk about anything.
Literally anything. Like there are certain things that like occasionally I'll be like, is that somebody else's like
thing?
Secret? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you're so open, you're not considering the other party in it.
Yeah,
I've been there. My dad's like, I just don't like you talking about us.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well, sorry you did that thing when we were kids, and I'm like, weird about yelling now.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, mine are like disgust. Like my dad is like disgusted by my podcast. He literally is like, he told me he's like I it's gotten grosser and grosser, and it just keeps getting grosser. And then like my grandparents heard it.
Oh no, grandparents cannot listen to your podcast.
Oh, it's insane. And they heard me talking about, like, this is pretty wild. So like, did you care if I just rant? Like,
no.
Okay. So my sister had like a Barbie doll head that you would like comb.
I had one myself.
Yeah, and when I was like a kid, I was like, well, could I have sex with its mouth? So I tried that.
Duh.
Yeah, and my grandparents, like, somebody put my podcast on for it, and that was like a gift they got her, and they were just like, Jesus Christ. But I was like, who put that on? And then it was so funny because my dad is like, I got like a real argument with my dad where I was like, don't tell me how to do my art or whatever. Like I got really like offended. And then like my mom was just like, I want you to know I'm so proud of you. Yeah, she was like so sweet.
Wildly supportive parents.
Yeah. She's like, I won't listen to it. But
no, please don't listen to it. Where are you from?
I'm from Florida originally, like the suburbs, Winter Park. It's like a nice suburb of Orlando.
Okay.
Which I try to hide. Like I try to be like, I'll never like lie and say I grew up like poor.
Yeah, like in a trailer park.
Yeah. But unless like I'd love to do like a late night appearance and then just completely lie about my background.
Yes,
just for like one.
Just cosplay being poor, which is very popular among comedians.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's I always ask where people are from because I just think it's so interesting, like, you know, the way you're raised in different parts of the world. Did you grow up your whole life in Florida?
Yeah, I lived there for 22 years, and then I lived up here for a summer because I took like screenwriting classes that like applied for some of my college credits. Like instead of doing like an internship like most people do, I was like, oh, I could do this, and then and I moved up like technically before I graduated because I remember like my senior year of college, I went in like January and I was like, all right, sweet. So I'm getting my diploma in May. They're like, no, you dropped like so many classes. They're like, you have like more than a semester worth of school. And I was like, fuck. So I had to do summer school and another semester. But I moved up here like in May and then I just like took the rest online and I took like some other credits. But yeah, so I lived in Florida for 22 years and I'm 28. So I've lived here for 6 years now. Cool. But yeah, no, it's like a way different world obviously than like here.
Yeah.
And COVID was really weird because I kept going back and forth, and it was just such like opposing.
Dude, literally, Florida was just like everyone was able to just exist. And it was fun.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, I came from New York. When I came from New York, everybody's like, "Ew, you're coming from New York? Right? That's the COVID hotspot."
Right.
And then I went there for 6 months and came back. People were like, "Ew, you're coming from Florida? That's like the." And I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah. No. God, what a weird time. Okay, so. Joe did your pod recently, and I didn't watch it. I just like caught a snippet of it.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned that you look like you've lost weight.
Yes. So
have you lost weight?
Yeah. So I'm very Jonah Hill. Like I'm I go up and down dramatically.
A fluctuator? No, like from one yo-yo dieter to another, I could tell.
Yeah.
I could tell that that's how you are.
100%. And this is like, I don't know if you okay. So like, I had like a breakup and like I lost weight during that. Like like both of us. It was really funny because we were both like, it was like a 2-month breakup, and we were just passing each other both going to the gym. So we're like both like trying to get hotter as we're like breaking up. So funny.
You gotta get back on. You gotta get
Yeah.
market ready.
Yeah, I got like veneers. She's got like fake tits. We're like, all right.
Yeah.
Clearly, we're like
Yeah.
ready to get out of this thing. But no, yeah. So like, and a lot of it was like we had like a year. We were like, we're gonna take a year off of dating, which obviously does not go well.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah, but like that's what we were doing. So like part of it was like, yeah, I want to be single and like feel better. But then part of it was also like, like if we get back together, like I want to look good. But
yeah.
that's where I lost like some weight, and then I kind of like, and then I got to a place where I was kind of like, I was like going to the gym because like I grew. Okay, so like this is my whole thing. In Florida, the coolest guys in my high school were fat guys that got a lot of pussy.
Oh shit! Okay, that Florida swag.
Yes, like I think that in the South that is like a thing.
Yeah, because like a burly country guy.
Yes, like there's this dude. I remember he had like a tooth he could take out of his mouth.
Hot.
Yeah, and like a mullet. Dude was like, and he just got all the chicks, and then like another guy I knew could like breathe fire, and he was fat, and also like it was like that was like it was just vibes. So like, I didn't go to the gym for like literally like 10 years probably because I was like, this is lame.
Yeah.
And then I went to Florida State, and then it was like, Florida's so weird though because like half of it's like, okay, it's like the Miami beach culture.
Yes.
Culture is like super Guido-y, like steroid stuff like that, which I always thought was really lame. So I was like, all right, well, first off, I was like, there's no way I could even like look anything like these people because they're doing steroids. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, in college, I was like, whatever. I'll just like, be a personality person. And then, then as I said, like the breakup happened. I started going to the gym again, and then I started like gaining a little weight, which I was totally fine with. And then I was going on a rant like probably like 6 weeks ago about how like lame abs are to my friend. I was like, dude, I could do it if I really like tried. I was like, he's like, no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
And he starts like ranting at me. I'm like, dude, it's so lame. Like, I'm not going to count calories and all that. And he goes, dude, if you could have a 6-pack by my bachelor party, you don't have to pay for the Airbnb. So that's why.
Incentive.
Yes, that's why
Yeah.
now I've been like going on this crazy like.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm
living
immediately
for this bet.
Yes, and then immediately afterwards, I'm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
back. Yeah. This is why they say diets are unsustainable because you're not going to be chasing that dragon for forever. You're going to
No,
be
yeah.
constantly. It's like okay. So wait, I want to know a little bit of the details. When's the bachelor party?
So I got technically 6 weeks, but this is what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get them a week before, so that I can start drinking and have an alcohol tolerance because I haven't drank it in 5 weeks. So
Wow, you're really committed.
I'm doing like crazy shit. Like nothing like I'm not starving myself or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm eating like
Being
chicken,
healthy.
shrimp. Yeah. And then I'm like doing like lots of cardio and then just walking. What's really fun is just like smoking pot and just walking around.
Oh yeah, you can get those steps.
Yeah.
in, baby.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't like ever look at that on the app, and I was like, oh, and it's kind of like a video game when you're like, oh, I reached this many steps this day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Sure.
And then I got leg weights, so I'll just go to the grocery store with them like under my baggy like sweatpants. And that's when I realized I was kind of crazy because I'm like walking around eating shrimp with leg weights on, just like circling my block.
You're like a 90s, early 2000s housewife.
Yeah. Like this is insane.
Like we go to the grocery store with our leg weights on.
Yeah.
I remember my grandma always cleaning the house with her wrist and ankle weights on.
It's such an old lady thing. And then it's all. I feel like I should get that. What's the machine? Do you remember that machine where like you put it around like your waist and then it would just shake you to apparently give you abs?
Oh my god, are you on TikTok at all?
A little bit.
Okay, so you maybe are not like losing a majority of your day to it like I am, but I am constantly being served vibration plate ads from TikTok Shop, and it's literally just to sell you that. It's not the band, but it is just a plate that you stand on and you like,
That's so funny.
It's back in style, baby. It's crazy.
There's no way that works, right?
That I can't see how that would work. The only thing I could see it possibly doing is like helping break up like water in your system. Like
Okay,
maybe
I guess
you know
it
what
could
I
separate the water from the salt. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I heard that it's good for your lymphatic system, like rebounding exercise, like jumping up and down, bouncing on a trampoline, are really good exercises for your lymphatic system. So I guess it like simulates that.
Okay.
But I can't see how you're like losing any like if you needed to like cut weight for like a wrestling match, I could see maybe that being, but and maybe seeing definition in like your abs, it would help with that, but not long term. You'd have to do it all the time.
Right. Yeah.
In
Well,
perpetuity.
it's funny you brought up TikTok because that is the funniest thing because like my algorithm has never been weirder since I started doing this.
Okay, I was gonna ask that next. So what's your algorithm serving up now that you're like pivoted into this like healthy?
So it used to be like a lot of chimps and stuff like that because I love just like monkey videos. And then now it's like this bald guy. I mean, all kinds of different jacked bald guys being like, Joe Rogan's full of shit. Sugar's good for you, or like a different
Oh my God,
guy.
wow, I haven't even heard of that lane.
Yeah. There's people that are like everything. I realize first off, it's really funny when you go on a diet and everybody tells you something different, and you're like, I can't listen to it. I gotta just choose. So I chose like one guy, and I'm like, I'm listening to this guy's
I like that
advice because I'm like everybody else is like. I just heard the crazy. Like a lot of people are like, just do 10 minutes of sit-ups every day, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because that's how muscles work. Like muscles like have to break and then go back. Like
that's not enough. That's not rigorous enough for what you want to achieve.
Yeah, and also it just doesn't make sense to do like one to work a specific muscle like that.
Yeah, one set of exercise.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me just turn this off. But no, it's like everybody's saying something different, and it's so funny to see the like. I don't know. It's just like my whole algorithm is now just guys on steroids. Like it's shirtless guys. And the funny thing is, I got like a screen protector because I wanted to like write jokes on my phone, and so I got like a privacy screen.
Yeah, I've had one of those.
Yeah, and then I took it off, and I forgot about that I took it off. And every day I'm like taking shirtless pictures in the mirror, and I'm like, and I forgot for like a week that my privacy screen's off. So I'm just like looking at like shirtless pictures of me, looking at different shirtless guys with abs. I'm like, is that an ab? Was that there?
Yes, like, am I getting there?
Yeah, and then like, I think it was like 3 days ago, I was like, oh shit, I've just been like, this looks so insane.
Yeah,
so many people just I forgot that I took the screen off. I saw it on my floor and I was like, oh, I haven't been using this in weeks.
Yeah, this guy is like seriously obsessed with himself.
Yeah. It's like all that. But it is, I don't know. It's one of those things that like, it's really, my favorite thing is people being like, oh, do you like feel better? I'm like, no, I love drinking. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
It doesn't feel like your true essence.
No.
Yeah. And like, isn't it weird how even though this isn't something that isn't going to be your entire life, you are obsessed with it right now?
Oh, totally. Yeah,
like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's like all I like think about for the last like month. It's like I'm like
completely taking over your brain.
Yeah. I just see like the Airbnb is so expensive. It's $650. So I just see the number $650.
That's like literally rent.
Yeah, and it is funny that it is my like buddy because we were joking about like he's individually giving me the money in ones now because I'm like all sexy. He's just tucking him into the bathing suit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh God, I feel like the entirety of my life, which is why I am such a yo-yo dieter, is like my motivation to lose weight has always been because of an event. So it's so funny that you're coming on here like, oh, I have this thing that's 6 weeks out and it's why I'm working so hard. Do you think you're going to achieve it?
I think it's going to be really close because this is the tough part is they said washboard abs.
Okay, yeah. I would say, what's the parameters of the...
Yes, we got like 2 judges. So like, yeah.
I love this.
2 judges. So this is what I think. I think it's possible. I think I'm going to get it I'm just going to get there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I could see them like poking through, which is cool. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I think it's really funny because like they're not even. Like there's one that's coming out and there's one that's like, I'm like, where's the other one that's supposed to be here?
Right.
It's like, it's all like, I don't know why. Maybe I like have like something in my pocket that's heavy. I have no idea why. like they're like diagonal. So I got like one up here and then one here, but like none here and none here.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're just like developing in certain ways because like I noticed that my more dominant side is much stronger.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's
like
the same thing with like if you're like lifting weights or something.
Yes,
like one
it's
arm
always so much harder on this arm. I'm like, I can't get it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's so funny, and I love that there's judges and like a whole bet around it.
Yeah, I wish I told like nobody because it'd been really funny to
God,
just show up. They're like, what?
Oh, that would have been so funny.
Especially because I'm always like a gut guy. Like I'm always a guy.
Really?
Like I'll podcast. I don't care. Like I'll have my belly hanging out. And
Yeah.
I'm always just like I've always had a stomach, so I'm like it would just be kind of hilarious for me to just like randomly be like, "What this?"
So have you ever been self-conscious of your body?
Not my weight like ever really. Like I've had to height things occasionally, but like weight I've never like because I said like the coolest guys
Yeah.
at my high school were like fat dudes. So it was like there was no like I never really thought about it.
Mhm.
I think and I never thought about height until recently. I think recently the algorithm just got me weird with it. Where like,
Wow, you're tall.
well, yeah, I'm 5'10", which is like average.
Yeah.
And it's like I think what like my literally until like probably like 4 months ago, I never even like thought about it because it was like I don't know. Like I've hooked up with people that are taller than me, short. Like it's not really anything I think about.
Yeah.
I feel like women usually care more about vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Than like dudes are like very shallow, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the opposite. But it's just like randomly, like for like a month, TikTok just kept being like, "Yo, so how tall do you have to be to date you?" And the girl's like, "I gotta be like 6'5", and then it would fuck with my brain for like, and it's so crazy because like I've never thought like that,
Right.
And then randomly, I'm like, "Oh, the internet is actually like fucking with my brain a little bit."
The algorithm's making you insecure. And
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it. You can't get taller.
No, exactly.
That's like you literally cannot control that even a little bit.
No, unless you do the leg breaking surgery, which is so insane.
Or worse, wear lifts in your shoes.
Yeah. Oh, I get those ads now, and I'm like, what is?
Nah, you're not getting
I get the ads,
Oh
yeah.
my god, it's honestly kind of refreshing to hear that men's insecurities are also being targeted.
Oh,
for people to make money.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my god.
You know what it
That's
is
crazy.
too? I saw my ex on a dating app. This is crazy.
Did you swipe?
The first time I saw her on a different one. All right, I can say whatever. Who gives a fuck? She's like into tall guys or something like that.
Uh-huh.
That really like I was like, what the fuck? Like, and it was like the same week that like all that shit was popping up in my algorithm.
Yeah.
So it kind of just like
you
weirdly,
just like attracting that weird energy.
yeah. And I was like, it's like never in fucking my whole life ever even thought about that. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know why. Yeah, and I'm sure like the internet does the same. I'm sure it does the same thing. I mean, it's been doing that to women for like decades.
We've had that since before the internet.
Yeah.
Oh my god, just constantly being targeted of stuff we're insecure about. That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to like find out. It is interesting because what I've done with my phone, because I've gone on these walks, I'll just turn off my phone for hours, which is really fascinating because I've actually gotten to the point with my brain where I've explored almost every corner of it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool, but it's so funny to be like between like therapy. I got a lot of therapy. Like,
I'd love to hear that.
yeah, no, I've been going for like a while now. Like therapy, podcasting, and like stand up, and just walking around on my phone. It's less peaceful than you think. I literally am like, oh, there's nothing left in my brain. I'm like, I've said everything I think about everything now.
Yeah.
Because I podcast for I mean, it's like I'm at like fucking 240 episodes, so I've just said everything I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to go to like Japan or something. I'm like,
Oh my god, 240 hours of podcasts. It's like, do you have a single inside thought? Like someone can
Yeah.
go onto YouTube, www.youtube.com, and find everything Michael Good has ever thought of.
yeah, every
Isn't
single one
that
of my
so
opinions
weird?
you could construct. It's so insane.
Yeah.
And even things I've kept secret, you could draw. Like you
Yes.
could literally be like, all right, well, he said this, so clearly he thinks this on this, and you could put it together.
Yeah. Oh my god, if I was single, you would be such a dream to date because like when I was dating, I was obsessed with Googling the person. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that there would be so much content for me to consume about you would be like I've struck a gold mine.
Which is also terrifying.
It's awful for you.
Oh, it's terrible. It's like immediately every single time. Like I'm not famous by any means, but people can find me for some reason very easily, even though I have a common name. Like people see like on dating profiles like Michael comedian, and then I've had women like quoting clips to me.
Oh my god! Like because you said something disparaging
no,
or like silly.
Yeah, well, it's like there's like a video of me. Okay, so one time I put a sparkler in my ass, not like in the hole, but like in the cheeks, and then another time I shot a bottle rocket out of my ass. I just want to say that. But anyway, she was texting me about like she's like, oh yeah, I have a kink. She's like, don't judge me though. She's like, I really like when guys put sparklers between their butt cheeks. And I was like, oh, how'd you find that?
Yeah. Do you get a message like that and you're like, oh, this is funny, or oh, I prefer if you hadn't?
I always prefer if they hadn't because it's like, you're seeing like I don't know, like now I cared less, but like initially, because I'm sure it's like stopped. I'm sure like I have like, I know one girl was so funny. This chick was on Field and she was married, but she was looking for like a side boyfriend.
If you don't know, Field used to be Thrinder. Now it's Field, and it's like for ethically non-monogamous couples.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of all kinds.
People
yeah,
in
there's,
general, not
there's
couples.
all kinds of like weird. There's like orgies on there. But it was funny because this girl was like had really strict parameters, and we talked for a while, and then she's like, "Yeah, I need like a boyfriend who like can't spend the night, but is I'm like, you're getting a little greedy. I'm like, you can be.
What am I, an object?
Yeah.
What am I, a piece of meat to you, lady?
Yeah, I was like, you can have an open marriage. Like, I don't care. Like, do gangbangs and stuff. But then like to be like, okay, you can only have 2 sexual partners, and then I'm also married. I can't. I'm like, who is?
Do not fucking tell me what I can do with myself.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. And then months later, we matched again, and she's like, oh, I think I've kind of changed what I'm looking for. And then she's like, ooh, if you have a podcast, that's a big red flag. I was like, you have a husband. Like, how do you
You have a husband.
I'm like, how do you not? You can't look past my podcast, but you're married.
Oh my god. Yeah, her like she's polyamorous, but like cannot handle one of her boyfriends having a podcast. First off, you want to date multiple dudes, chances are 1 in 3 of them are gonna have a podcast.
Oh, 100%. And I think she lives in Brooklyn too. I'm like, this is 100% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so funny. That oh god. And like obviously we're like I don't know, like I guess I'm not part of that community of poly people. Like
Yeah.
do you think for yourself that like you can date an open person but you yourself not be open, or where are you with that? Are you
So
open?
I was like, I'm not looking for any, because like I have relationship like exhaustion where I did it for 7
Totally.
years, and I'm like,
time to be single.
yeah, this is what I did, which is really funny. I was always like a very like promiscuous person. Like, it sounds like fucking 13 or whatever. And then like, I was like, I got to college and like my sophomore year, I was like, I'm gonna be a boyfriend guy. I was like, I'm gonna be a
Oh,
boyfriend.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I met a girl that I
Yeah.
really liked, and I was like, I'm gonna be a boyfriend. I was like, I'm a good, and I had to do it
Yeah.
to like show myself I wasn't a piece of shit. So like I was like, okay, well I like this person, they're cool. I didn't want to really necessarily be in a relationship. I didn't want to lose this person. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well let me try being in a relationship.
Finn, get out of there.
But most of it was just to prove to myself that I wasn't some sort of scumbag. And then I
Yeah.
did it for 7 years, and then I got out of it. And then I was like, oh, that was actually fake. I was like, this is kind of real me.
Kind of crazy that you like lost your 20s to the concern of being a scumbag.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Well, and it's also like I think like that should have been a 5-year relationship that went to 7. Like I think
yeah, I
Yeah.
can see how you could get there for sure.
yeah, and I think that like but like for me, it's like I can't see myself not being in an open, like this is who I am when I'm gonna be. You ever seen the guy who runs Jurassic Park? No, have you ever seen him? Have you seen the movie? I haven't seen him walking around, but like that is me as like a Florida swinger. Like I'm gonna have a beard, like one of those fedoras.
So yeah, the scientist,
Yes.
whoever he is. Yeah.
Yes, wife, just like typical Florida woman, just blonde, giant fake boobs, which I'm not even that into, but I'm like, that is
The aesthetic.
the aesthetic. She's banging like the pool boy, I'm banging like secretary, and then we're all
That sounds fucking awesome. If
Yeah,
I'm being
yeah.
completely real with you.
yeah. But in my vision, I'm like rich and have a boat. Like I think it's probably different.
Hey, that's manifesting, baby.
Yeah,
Just gotta dream it. You can be it.
yeah,
You'll have a boat and a hot wife who bangs a pool boy.
yeah. See, that seems fun. Like I'm very like I don't know. I think it's like. I think it's like if you can make relationships work, then it's awesome. But everybody like assumes it's like a thing for everybody.
Yeah, because it's just what we've been sold. You know,
Yeah,
it's just the thing that you've never seen your parents, be open in their relationship. That's not normal. Plenty of parents are, but that's not what you think of. And I also grew up in religion, so that definitely wasn't
Same,
happening.
yeah. I was super religious, and I think that's where sort of like shame came from. And I was like, I'm gonna have
what did you grow up as?
So not like it's kind of great. So my dad, I was raised like my parents are pretty good Christians in the sense that like they were like open-minded and chill. Like they were never like. But what happened was my mom would put me. I got put on like speed like really young, combined with religion. which created OCD, which is really funny because it sounds like a smart plan where you're like, oh, I'm going to make my son like religious, and then we're going to give him Adderall so that he'll be focused in school. And then I'm just in my room, like jerking off on Adderall. Like, why does God hate me? Like I'm a sinner. I feel horrible about it. Like, why do I want to jerk off? But then if I jerk off, I'm a sinner. And it was just like this, like this cycle of like just guilt and shit. And then, but now I've gone through a bunch of therapy. I'm like, oh yeah, I see exactly where this like created. But like my dad's side of Christianity was kind of wild. So he was a Christian Scientist, not like aggressively. So Christian Science is wild. He would like go to the church, but he's not like he doesn't fully believe in it. But like the extreme Christian Scientists like don't believe in the use of medicine.
I've never heard of a Christian Scientist.
Yeah, it's wild. But he's not like isn't he was somebody who like he believes in mind over matter, which like somewhat makes sense.
That's kind of what every girl on TikTok talks about now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but it was one of those things that it was like we would kind of occasionally go to the Catholic church, we occasionally go to that church, but like overall they were very like they were never like you're gonna go to hell. But I could read the book, and I was like, "Hey, this says I'm going to hell for like half the shit I'm doing."
This book you put me on Adderall to read.
Yeah.
This is what it's saying.
I've highlighted like 9 of the chapters. Yeah.
Wait, I'm kind of stuck on the Christian Scientist thing. Do you know like much about that?
Yeah. So
like,
it was created by Mary Baker Eddy. This woman in like the 1800s when they had like no good medicine, and she's like, this shit sucks, we shouldn't use medicine, which is like
because it wasn't around to know that it worked.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, of course leeches aren't a good idea.
Right.
And then like she's like, yeah, no, you should like pray and like okay, this is kind of funny. people like keep like okay, whatever, who gives a fuck. So like there were people that like their like grandma would like die, and then they'd like leave the church. They'd be like, oh, I guess this is all bullshit because we prayed.
Not the hard way.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, it is such a crazy, weird, like, I don't know. It's so funny when like people get like in such a mindset with things where it's like, I don't know how you can't just see that like God probably made the medicine for you to you know what I mean? It's like
right.
God made water too. I don't know why you're just like this. Like surgery is different than water.
Right.
Or like, why can't you pray in combination with this?
Yeah, it's so when I religions that don't use medicine are so interesting to me because it's such an obvious way of coercive control.
Yeah,
you know, like Scientologists aren't into medicine.
Yeah,
and it's like how many relatives of John Travolta need to die before it's like maybe you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah,
crazy shit like that.
And it's insane. And I am also like one of those people where like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not like every doctor's right. Like there's a ton of them that are like you're like, this is crazy they gave you a degree.
Yeah.
Oh, that was also not to so I went to I donate plasma for money sometimes.
Totally.
Or I don't donate, I sell it. But at a clinic, and the fucking guy was so funny. This is how dumb this guy was. And I think he's a doctor. He's like, hey, you lost a lot of weight, because they actually stopped me in there and they were like, oh, you've lost so much weight that it's like you can't donate anymore if you keep losing weight at this rate.
Why?
Because I don't know. They're like I think they think it's like an unhealthy thing, but I'm like, and I try to explain to them, I was like, no, I stopped drinking, and they were like, the guy goes, it's not good. I was like, what? He goes, that's not good. He goes, you gotta drink water. I'm like, did you think I wasn't drinking water for 4 weeks? I was like, what? I was like, additionally, like what, like, no, who says? And I was like, yeah.
I wonder what could be that guy's deal. Was he young, old?
He was like young, and he was not kidding. He was like, you got to drink water, man. I'm like, did you think I was just coming in here like? And I was like, I quit drinking. Like,
yeah.
I'm proudly saying I quit drinking water.
Right.
But yeah, no, and I've had like, it's just like anything else where it's like there's some people that are smart, some people that aren't, and then they argue with each other. But it's also like to be like this whole thing is not right. It's like this guy knows more than me.
Yeah. I mean, I think curing polio was a pretty good indicator that medicine matters.
And there are biases. Like I think it is crazy that like you can put a 4-year-old on Adderall in the United States.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Like, it might be 5, but it's like 4 or 5.
I'm like, can we investigate what we're doing to people before the age of 25?
Yeah,
like what is it? Our frontal lobe isn't even formed before 25. Like, don't put me on medications. It's gonna like, I don't know, mess with that development.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, and like, listen, if I had a 4-year-old that was bouncing off the walls, like maybe parents get really desperate, and so like that's why they're like, okay, modern medicine take over. But like, it just doesn't feel like putting. I know how I feel after an Adderall. I feel like I just
crazy.
popped a Molly. Like,
Yeah.
I'm literally on a party drug
Oh, it's crazy. It's
to
crazy
get through my work day.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. Somebody sees a 4-year-old and they're like, he's just not grasping.
Yeah,
Like, what
right.
do you do
Like
with
he's
it?
4, and it's like, yeah, like a kid is bouncing off the walls, and that's very frustrating. And like maybe he's biting, but
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like there's more somatic things, like what let him run around the track or something.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, and I think what happened with me too is I was in like, so I'm a fucking dumbass, and I was in like private school, and it was like the kid. I thought I was the dumbest fucking person because I went to private school for like the first half, and I was like, oh, I'm so dumb, and then so they had to like pump me full of like amphetamines, and then my mom for sure lied, or not lied, but she for sure told the teachers like, yeah, we put him on amphetamines, because I remember the next day they were like, something sharp about you, and like there's no way they know. Every one of my
yeah.
teachers was like, did you get smarter today?
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
shut
yeah,
up. I was like,
yeah.
my mom for sure called them and was like, yo, he's on drugs.
He's on bath salts.
Yeah. But no, it was like yeah, I didn't take it like the second half of 8th grade because I was like, let me just go off 6 months, and that's when I was making like straight C's. But then I went to public school and I was like, oh, I'm not stupid. I was just in school with like the smartest
Yeah.
kids.
What kind of was it? Just a private school, or was it a religious denomination?
So it was like for elementary school, I went to private school, Park Maitland School, which the initials were PMS. All the shirts would say PMS on them. And then middle school, I went to Trinity Prep, which is like, what do you call it? Like it was like technically Christian, but it's pretty loose. They were like, we have mass, but also like there's a ton of Jewish kids. It was kind of like just like but they were like, I mean, there's people like going to Yale from. I mean, I guess that happens in public school too, but like it was like very intense, and I was like, oh, I'd rather not like fuck up. For one, I was like, I'm not trying to go to like, I'm trying to go to Florida State. Like I knew I was like, I'm trying to go to like a state school, and I was like, I don't need to do all this, and also this is tanking my grade. It's really funny when like teachers are like, we're the strictest school, and it's like, yeah, you also know your kids' GPAs are gonna be fucking screwed because like
they need to get into these good schools. Why are you making their GPA shit?
like so fucked up. Yeah, and then for high school I went public, and that was the shit. I'm like, I'm smart.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully private school like prepped you to like have an easier time in public school.
Yeah, I guess in a way it was kind of nice because it was like, it was like, I was like, oh, okay, well, things aren't that difficult. But no, school was like not. Like I literally did so much Adderall, and my tutor was this Asian guy who went to Yale who I'd spend like 4 hours with. Like, just basically like I'd sit through class, just be on speed thinking about like nonsense or whatever. Then my parents paid this Asian guy to sit down with me and just like teach me everything that was supposed to be taught, but like looking me in the eyes, being like,
hey, over here.
Yeah. But that got hardcore too. I remember he was taking caffeine pills, and then he started like cutting them up and like giving me half. And
You're in 7th grade?
no, this one I was like in high school. I was
Oh,
probably,
in high
like,
school.
I was probably, like, but I mean, he already knows I'm doing like coke
yeah.
and stuff, so it's like
Oh, you were doing coke in high school?
I think like senior year I was a wild kid.
Yeah. When did the partying start?
I think like I 8th grade is when I started like drinking and smoking weed, and I did shrooms and told on myself summer going into 9th grade.
In like a I'm freaking out kind of way, or like a I did this and it was weird?
Oh, like a full freak out. Like I remember
Oh no.
I thought I was so smart. So when I was like in school on Adderall, I was just like Googling. I was like, shrooms dosage, like stuff like that. I thought I like scientifically was like, all right, well, there's no way I could have a bad trip or whatever. Me and my buddy did it, and we tripped like balls. Like we were like, I mean, like, you done shrooms, I assume, right?
Sorry?
Have you done shrooms?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was like to the point where like the ceilings like morphing into all these faces
Yeah.
and like basically like melting and falling down and just like out of my brain. And I thought I was like stuck like that. So I was like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna tell my parents. I knew that, but I told my buddy, I'm like, let's just go hang out at my house. And I was like, because I was like, I'm stuck like this. I'm like, they're the only people that can get me out of this. I'm like, I'm probably in like a hospital bed in like Maine somewhere. Like I was so far, like I was so far. And I remember my favorite part is I read in my little research, I said milk makes you stop tripping and orange juice intensifies it. So it was like me and my buddy Sean and this girl Amanda who was trip sitting us, and she was like, she goes, I go, Amanda, do you have any milk? And Sean goes, don't fucking do it. he's like getting mad at me. He's like, don't drink the milk. He's like, we're in this together. And I was like, no,
As
I
if
want.
the milk is gonna be like the off switch.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so I was like, and I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, I grab a gallon of milk and I look him in the face and I go, this ends now. And I'm just like, yeah. And in my mind,
I'm crying. That's so funny.
yeah. And I was drinking the milk and I remember it's like literally pouring, like it's like I'm spilling some on my cheeks and stuff. And then I was like, oh, if that didn't work, I'm like, I guess I'm stuck like this forever. If milk didn't take out 2 or 3
my
grams of
God.
mushrooms.
Imagine though if milk did, like if you're
Oh,
having
be
a
so.
bad
I would do
day-
shrooms all the time.
time.
You could do shrooms and drive and just have a cup of
literally,
milk. Yeah.
literally, I would do it at work.
Yeah. Why would it? Yeah, you'd be fine. And then like it was so funny because she's like, you guys got to get the fuck out of my house because like you're chugging milk, you're yelling about milk. Like, what are you guys doing?
She's like, I'm 11.
Yeah, she's like, this is insane. Yeah, she's like, my parents are gonna lose it. And I was like, let's just go back to my house. And then I had
And
a
I'm gonna narc on us.
yeah, I knew I was gonna narc. He goes, you better not fucking tell us. I go, I won't. And I was like, I'm gonna tell the second I get into my house. And I walk in, and I remember my mom's like here, my dad's here. There's like stairs behind them, and Sean's behind them like this. And I remember his fucking smile. This was like the hardest ever trip. Besides on like ketamine or something like that, but it was like his cheeks were like up to his ears.
Yeah.
And it was like his eyes were like covering most of his face. It was like I was out of my brain. I was like, I told my and he's going behind them going like, no. He's going, don't say anything. And I told him, I was like, I ate mushrooms. And my mom screamed because she thought we like were poisoned. Because she's like, who's going to sell shrooms to a 14-year-old? She's like, there's no way.
It's so funny that your mom's first thought was that you ate like raw foliage.
Yeah, she thought we were just on the ground. She's like, my kid's a fucking idiot. She's like, there's no way he's like, somebody sold him mushrooms because it's
Right.
like,
And it's like, Mom, we're in Florida.
yeah. Yeah, it was my brother's friends who were like 2 years older. But it was so funny because like, I heard her, she's like, call 911. And I go, no, I got him from a drug dealer. And then she,
Don't worry, Mom.
yeah.
Reputable source.
Yeah, we're fine. And then she literally goes, okay. She's like, it's obviously not good.
Yeah, but like, okay, you didn't eat something that was growing off the side of the garage.
Yeah, you're not like poisoned. You're just tripping
Yeah.
balls. And then she puts me and my buddy Sean in her bedroom, and she turns on like Romeo and Juliet, which is like a little like another Pixar movie. And
Your mom became your trip sitter.
oh yeah. Well, and before that, the one that did set me off a little bit. Have you seen Tangled?
Yes.
So we're watching Tangled, and there's a whole song called "Mother Knows Best," and that's what started the bad trip because I was like, "Oh God, I'm disobeying my mom."
Yeah.
But then I realized later that's the villain who doesn't want her to see the
Yes.
real world. So
Yes.
my mom's the villain that doesn't want me to go out and explore on shrooms, and she doesn't really know best. She's just trying to keep me away from good times. But I remember it was so funny because my dad kept walking by, and he kept going like, "You're so done."
You're
It's like,
fucking done, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like just kill me.
yeah. Well, and I was looking at my buddy, and I was like, right now, okay, the last person we want to know we're on drugs already knows. So
Yeah.
we're kind of done.
Worst has happened.
Yeah. I was like, we might as well just enjoy this.
Outside of our heart stopping and us being stuck like this forever.
Yeah. Because at that point, I was kind of like, all right, I'm probably not permanently.
Yeah. Now
Stuck.
that I've ratted on myself,
Yeah.
we can now enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. And the funniest was they were driving us in the car, and they were going to pick up some Boston Market because they were like, we can't leave you guys alone at the house. And I remember we're stopping, and in my head, I was like, we're not going to Boston Market. I was like, they're taking me to rehab. And I was like planning on like every red light I was looking, and I was like looking for a rehab. I was like, I'm gonna run
Meanwhile,
away.
it's Florida. There's one on every street.
Every single corner. Yeah. Yeah, thank God we didn't pass one because I would have immediately been like, I was planning to like run away. I was like, I'm not going to rehab. I was like, in my mind, I was like, look, I know I've like lost my brain, but I'm like, I did shrooms once. I was like, you can't send me to rehab
We're
for
not
that.
drug addicts.
Yeah. And then we finally saw Boston Market, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're not like, but the crazy part is like, I'm not like I have mixed feelings on the psychedelics thing because a lot of people are like, it saves me and all that stuff. But like in some ways it was positive because like I kept seeing like my friend, I looked identical to him, and I was like, oh, we're the same person. And I noticed I was walking in his footsteps, and I was like, oh, I'm becoming this person. And he was a really bad kid, so I was like, I don't want to end up like this kid.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I think it did kind of make me like then fix my life a little bit because I was like, all right, I don't want to like be like
Yeah.
this.
You're able
yeah.
to get a little deeper than like a normal 13-year-old would have.
Yeah. I was like, I
Yeah.
need to get my life on track. Which, by the way, I did shrooms I think 4 months later.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, they are so fun.
Yeah. Well, and then it was so funny because she took me the next day she took me to because I wasn't initially, that was right before I was switching to public school. She took me to some really strict private school, and then she just starts ranting and yelling at me, my mom, and she's like, "You're gonna go to school here," and all this stuff. And there was it was the summer, so there was nobody in the buildings. It was a scare tactic, and I was like, okay, you're just yelling at me at an abandoned
Yeah.
high school. But it was funny. Did you guys ever where'd you grow up?
Jersey.
Did you guys have the high school where it's there was a couple prep schools where all the bad kids would get sent, and it was like a tornado of chaos because
Yeah.
their parents would be like, "You're too much of a fuck up, so we'll put you in the school," and then the school's just filled with fuck ups.
Yeah, so that was kind of like my high school to some degree because I went to Catholic school, but we were the cheapest in the area. And so it would be like if you were too bad to go to say Saraville High School, then that's maybe a bad example because yeah, sure, if public schools were okay, you're bad, go to the Catholic school because enrollment was so low, they very seldom kicked a kid out. They would kick kids out for bad behavior, but yeah, totally. The schools where it's just the degenerates go to because they can't be in Gen Pop.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it is we're gonna put them at the good school, and then it was every other parent had that idea. And
Now it's a delinquency school.
We had a school that drug tested.
Your school drug tested?
No, I didn't. But there was this school Lake Highland, and this fucking kid. Could you imagine how much you'd hate your parents after this? He got caught smoking weed. His parents donated to the school. One family funded drug testing for the whole entire high school.
Oh, social suicide.
I was like, you might as well just kill your kid.
Literally,
Yeah,
you should have taken him out back with a gun
and shot him in the head
to put him out of his misery.
Hair testing too, so it lasts 8 months.
Oh my God, that's so cruel. And it just builds this this anxiety and distrust of authority.
Oh, totally. Well, also, people don't realize my parents would drug test me, and it was the worst idea because I would just do weirder drugs that don't show up.
Of course.
I just do cough medicine and whippets.
Yeah.
I remember.
What's the other one? Salvia.
Yeah, I never did that, but a lot of kids would do that.
Which is awful. Spice is awful.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are I did smoke the K2 stuff, and that was crazy because it was so salvia is a weird psychedelic, or it's some sort of other hallucinogen that makes you trip balls, but it's not the same as you're thinking. I mean, there was salvia. Both these things were sold at smoke shops, and then there was synthetic marijuana, which was the.
Okay, I thought those three things were the same.
No, no. By the way, this is what I was doing on Adderall for decades. So I have the weirdest drug knowledge, and it's just not really helpful. Besides helping
a 12-year-old get high.
Yeah, exactly. But no, synthetic marijuana is they take these plants and they spray them down with these things that mimic weed. But it you freak out, lots of people have seizures and
oh yeah.
And we would just smoke it out of a plastic water bottle and be like, all right, well, this isn't gonna show up on a drug test.
Right.
So and some kid would be having a seizure. It's part of the high, man. Your body
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's what's the alternative? Because I definitely don't want my preteen, smoking weed, but I definitely don't want them smoking that.
Yeah, I mean the answer is this. Look, everybody knows what weed smells like. You just go, have you been smoking weed? You don't have to drug test.
Yeah. You just talk to your child.
Yeah. But my mom, every time I walked in the door, she'd be like, "You're high." You're high. And then she'd catch me occasionally. She'd be like, I'm good. I'm like, no, you just say that every time I walk in the door.
Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
I got 2, older brother and younger sister.
Okay, were you the wild one or was everybody crazy?
I was definitely the wildest one.
Yeah. Michael takes risks.
Yes. I was definitely and it's funny because I was the mom of my friend group. I was the most well-behaved of my friends. And then some of them are dead. Some are one's in prison, but then you have some that are lawyers, so it's kind of a weird all over the place.
Some landed on their feet, some didn't.
Yeah. But my my brother, I think what it is too, if you're this, what is your
sibling?
Family? Yeah.
I'm the middle of 2 boys.
Okay, so for me, it's I progressed basically at similar levels as my brother because I learned oh, well, he's smoking weed. So I was like, okay, I guess weed's not bad for you.
Right. Yeah. And how much older is he? A few years?
Yeah, he's 2.5 years.
Yeah. So you're close enough in age to be to mimic that behavior.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, well, him and his friends do it. They're pretty cool. So I should, I should,
yeah.
I should start doing it. And my sister was like 5 years younger, so she was like,
The baby.
yeah, and she was like very well behaved and had like a lot more rules.
Thank God for her.
Yeah. She still has like a lot of my personality. I mean, we're all three like similar in a lot of ways, but like as far as like degeneracy, like by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were the one being put in multiple schools.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so funny because I look at my parents and I am so sorry.
Right.
I would like try to make arguments to them too. I'd be like, no, actually, psilocybin mushrooms are better for you than alcohol. So like, what you guys are doing is poison. And it's just like, you're fucking 14. Like, shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Oh my God! If a 14-year-old said that to me, I'd smack him in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I was not a young teen that was doing shrooms and stuff. I don't think I could have handled it. That's scary.
And by the way, it's permanently made me like not enjoy. Like every time I do shrooms as an adult now, I'm kind of like, ugh, I hope I don't tell my parents.
Because they're so in vogue now. Like, I feel like that's like because I feel like people are drinking so much less now. It's like more fun to like break off a few squares of shroom chocolate and then have a beer.
Yeah.
And
that's
good.
No, totally, and it's super cool. I just wish like I have now. I think I permanently have a fear of like losing my mind.
Yeah.
So it's like I think until I'm like 36 and they're like it's almost impossible for you to develop schizophrenia. Then I'll be like, all right, well I guess I'll do shrooms now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like you mentioned this before, but people talk about how healing psychedelics have been for them, and I do think that that's valid. But like, there has not been enough studies done for us to ever, be able to draw those parallels of like, yeah, this is good for you, and when you're talking about taking a mind-altering substance, like I know alcohol is technically because like of what it does in your brain chemically, but like literally psychedelics, like, well, you could go into a trip thinking like, this is my intention, this is what I want to figure out, and then when you don't have control of your brain, you're just stuck thinking this is how you're going to be for forever, and like that's also really, really scary and I think can be really traumatizing. And I would say most people's brains go back, but not everybody's, especially if you have like are predisposed to schizophrenia or like have a familial history of schizophrenia.
Yeah.
You might not even have a familial history of it and it just kind of pops up. You
know?
And
then you're
so
like,
it is a risk.
Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. And I think it is like there's also like I think the people that believe too much in the information of the trip where like they're like I now have to sell jewelry on the side of the road in like a school bus, and you're like that doesn't you just had a weird like
like they had a premonition or something.
Yeah, because like my parents weren't going to take me to rehab. Like that was like a fake thought. It's right,
it was a fake thought.
Yeah, sometimes you think like your friend is a cop on shrooms. That doesn't mean that that's like and people just like base their whole life off of like some weird thing. I have a friend, it was really funny. He did DMT, and he kept talking to me about how much I love him to death, but he told me how much like DMT like changed him, and then he was exactly like there was nothing different about it. He would just like do the exact same thing, and I was like, dude, literally nothing happened. Like
yeah. He's like, I feel different. I'm getting up 5 minutes earlier in the morning.
Yeah, it's like the littlest change. I was like, nothing dramatically changed.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I haven't done shrooms or any kind of mind-altering substance I can't remember the last time I did that, so I can't call on feeling change. I definitely have felt like, have you ever like done shrooms and then like try to watch a horror movie and you're like, this isn't scaring me the way it usually is?
Yeah, like certain things that like should be scary are like less scary, and certain things that shouldn't be scary can just rub you the wrong way.
Yes. Like one time, Joe and I tried watching Love on the Spectrum when we were on shrooms. We're like, we gotta shut this off. This is awful.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Like it was too freaky. It was too scary.
Yeah, but then you watch a horror movie, you're like, oh, this is so contrived.
Exactly.
What is that? I love in Knocked Up. I think he's having a bad trip on shrooms, and they're playing Cheaper by the Dozen. And he's like, that's not funny. He's like, that's a lot of responsibility to handle. That's not funny at all.
Yeah, totally. Oh, God.
This is a bone, right?
Yeah, that's a bone.
For a second, it looked like a used tampon. And I was like, I was like, are neither of us gonna mention that this is just
God, and like I am like constantly feeling so bad about the state of my apartment. I'm like, sorry for the mess. Sorry for the mess.
Oh, this is so clean. No,
I
this is
don't
great.
think I could have like a rogue tampon on the couch. That
Yeah,
would
for a
be
second I was like, this is wild.
wild. No,
But,
you can't get into the trash like that.
Yeah, no, I this is nothing. This is very clean.
Oh, geez, thanks.
Yeah, my place gets very gross. But no, the yeah, I don't know. It is weird though because it's like people also love like looking at it's the swingers thing and the drugs thing. People love like looking at all of it as like that's not how you're supposed to do life. This is how you're supposed to do life.
Yeah.
People like get really weird about like dude, I've heard people like shitting on Ari Shaffir because they're like, oh, he's like 40 and he's like doing acid. I'm like, so? I was like,
I know, yeah, like it kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the top of the show of just like, oh, you're supposed to get married and have kids, and it's like, it sounds like he's kind of like got it figured out for him, like he's having a good time.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wanted to prioritize having a good time,
right, yeah,
which is fine.
And it definitely goes the other way. Like, I definitely have caught myself being like, look at those idiots in relationships. When I'm like, really, I'm like, that's just me trying to justify my life being single.
Right. Okay. So actually, before we got into this whole this whole drug talk, you mentioned something that I wanted to ask you about. So before you got into your 7-year relationship, you felt like a scumbag being single and sleeping around. Do you know why you felt like that?
I don't think like I felt like bad doing it. I just felt like I would have a higher vision of myself in a relation. Like I guess in my head it was like I didn't feel like I didn't really feel guilt about having sex, but I think part of me felt like I was like better. Like part of me felt like I was a better guy if I was in a relationship. Not like I've always, even when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to have sex with lots of women. I was like, that's a cool thing. I like that. That's like a cool thing.
I've known from a young age I wanted to have sex with lots of women.
I was like, that's great. But then when I was doing it, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be the guy. Like in my mind, I was like, I'll be the guy who did that, but then now is settling down.
Oh, yeah. And you decided that at 19.
Yeah, like I was going to have like a corncob, like a pipe, and then be like, oh, I remember my young days. Now I'm a boyfriend guy. And I thought it was just like, yeah, but I think there was some element of me also feeling like, oh, you know, I am a like more noble person for being in a relationship, which is not true at all. Like it was just a weird kind of thing.
And like I know you said like of course you liked this girl and you know it wasn't the main impetus of getting into the relationship, but I think that it makes me even just look back at like the men I dated at that age and how like, oh man, like yeah, they probably just wanted to like be in a relationship because it made them feel a little bit less like a nobody floating out there in the world to be tethered to another person. And it's like, oh, I have my life together.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think that was an aspect too. I wanted to be like it, and it was definitely like a show offy thing. I was like, look at me and my hot girlfriend. Like I was like,
yeah, for sure.
Like in Thanksgiving, I'm like, I have a girlfriend. Like it just felt like so like that. And don't get me wrong. I mean, she's still is. I mean, I haven't talked to her in like a year. That sounds crazy to say, but it's still like one of my best friends in the world. Like, you know, for the time was my best friend in the world. Just because we haven't talked in a year, I would say like we're no longer best friends, but yeah, she's one of my favorite people, and like I definitely loved her and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's hard to break off something that, you know, I know you said like, oh, maybe it should have been 5 years, but it went to 7. But like, it's hard to cut something off that's been your life through your formative years, really, as an adult.
Oh yeah, and I remember like the last that was one of the hardest days of my life because I was like, I knew I'd moved out, and I was like, I just had the last of my stuff, and it was one of those things where it was like, I could not physically leave the apartment. Like, it was so sad. I was just like, I don't want to leave. And we were watching Family Guy, and I'd be like, let's just do one more episode. And I was like, God, I gotta fucking leave. And I remember it was just like, I thought I would like almost like it was so funny because I was so unempathetic. Like people go through breakups, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. And I'm like, what a fucking pussy. I'm like, this is gonna be fine. And then it happened to me, and I was like, this is what you were feeling? I was like, this is so much.
Awful.
And then like I was like, I'll never, like in my brain I felt like it was just never ending thing of like the process. And then I think now I'm at like a pretty decent spot with, like, I'm not like fully healed, but I'm like, no, I definitely feel like way better than I did.
Yeah. You have abs to obsess about.
Yeah,
you can't think about how sad you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't think about how sad you are.
Yeah.
So when you get to the other side of the abs, like when we get to the bachelor party and you don't have to pay $650, we're calling it now. Speaking it into the universe. you're immediately gonna go back to drinking? You're immediately gonna eat what you want? What's life gonna look like?
So this is what I think. I've thought about this. I thought about nothing about this. Like, it is crazy. Like, by the way, what happens with fucking dieting, I didn't know this, but like your sex drive drops.
Yeah,
So
because you're obsessed with your diet.
yeah, and because your body's telling you to get food and not to have sex. It's like,
Yes.
I'm not sure the same with women, but for men, it's like go hunt, don't
Yeah,
go
yeah,
bring.
yeah.
And so like my sex, like I'm not dating. I'm not like all that. I mean, I have like friends that benefit here and there where I'll hook up with,
Right.
but like I'm pretty like. And all that's dropped so much. Like now I fantasize about food. Like I used to like look on Instagram and be like, oh, she's so hot. But now I'm just like, I literally will like look up food and be like, oh, yeah. Like
Do you watch mukbangs?
no, is that when like the women eat the food?
Yeah. Women eat, well, people, but mostly women will eat food. You could probably explore a whole lane of your sexuality watching those.
Yeah, well, it's like,
My two favorite things coming together.
yeah, yeah. No, like I walk by McDonald's, like something that's not even that good, McDonald's, and I'm just like, oh, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
insane.
yeah.
I smell it. So this is what I'm like planning on. I'm gonna try to get him a week before the bachelor party, so I could just get it done with. Then I'm gonna like probably go to like eating like just more calories. Like I'm on the bachelor party. I'm eating burgers,
Yeah, of
french fries,
course.
stuff
You're
like
partying.
that.
You're on vacation.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Key West. So it is like a beach
you're gonna
town.
have so much fun.
Have you ever been?
No, I want to. I
It's
love Florida
so
though.
much fun. Yeah, it's in Key West is like
Yeah.
It's like sort of like New Orleans, but
Yes.
tropical.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
It's a blast. But yeah, I'm thinking about this aggressively. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna finish the thing, and then start eating like chicken and rice, like sort of put some more calories in, and then mix in some burgers, start drinking vodka sodas,
Yeah.
and then eventually by the bachelor party, just burgers and beer for like
Yeah,
4
yeah.
days. And then I think I will keep the amount of exercise, and then after the bachelor party or right before, I'm gonna bring it down to maybe like just a little less exercise, a little less working out, because I'm like, it's insane, and it doesn't like need to be this much. And I'm also like, it's like anybody who has abs. Okay, so there are people, I guess, that like just have them.
Yeah, like those bastards with good genetics.
Yeah, apparently that's just like when my buddy, you know, Chris Kimbeck.
No.
He's a very funny comic, but he's like, yeah, no, I've had abs since I was like 10. I've never lost them. Like
Yeah.
that's, and he drinks and
Yeah,
stuff.
Mark Norman's like that. He like just has abs without exercising.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Just a tight little bod for no reason.
That's so unfair. But yeah, I think I'm gonna like, what was it? Yeah, I'm gonna like tone all that down because I'm like, do you know how much fucking, I can't, 14 hours a week of exercise. This is fucking insane.
Too much
This is wasting my
exercise.
life away completely.
Yeah.
There's no, I'm not gonna be a Marvel superhero. I'm like, there's no reason for me to have abs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually, look, my theory always with having a gut was like most of the time, like when you take your shirt off and you're with a woman, you guys are already, you've already impressed.
Yeah,
like she's
yeah,
not gonna be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh no, you're,
Yeah, totally.
yeah. So it's like there's no like, yeah. So I'm gonna probably go to like exercising less and then just kind of eating like I'm gonna be like, all right, you know, let me try to eat a salad today or do stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like now it's like I'm literally eating chicken breast with salt and pepper on it
Oh my
and drinking egg whites, and it's
oh
like.
my god. Oh.
Shrimp is good though. I like shrimp is like my little like thing that actually tastes good that I
Yeah.
look forward to. But it's like I look forward to like a protein shake with water now, and I'm like, oh my god, whey protein and water is so delicious. So that's what I'm hyped for. Is like going and like it's gonna be like I just developed taste buds for the first time because I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah. If there was like it's like when you smoke weed and then eat, and you're like, wow, this food tastes so much better.
Oh my
It'll
God.
be that.
It's incredible, yeah. And now I
Um,
smoke weed and walk around and drink water.
How do you not eat?
I just walk. You know what? I might stop. I freaked out last night. I smoked pot, and I had to get up early to get like a real ID. Like you know how you got to get it
yeah.
by May 7th.
I'm so glad I just didn't know I was getting a real ID when I did.
Yeah. No, I went in and they're like, it's booked until after the 7th, so you just can't do it.
Yeah.
But I found out I could use my passport, which I thought was expired for like 4 years. Like I missed my sister's college graduation in Canada because I thought my passport. I was looking at the wrong date. I was looking at the issue date for like 3 years.
We're never gonna get this thing renewed.
Yeah, and I was like, my passport's expired. And I looked at it last night. I was like, it doesn't expire for another 2 years. So I'm fine with that. But I had to get up early, so I smoked a bunch of pot and last night, and then I just like I couldn't go to bed. Like you know when you need to get up early.
Yeah, it's the plague of my existence.
Yeah, it's so hard to sleep when you need
So
to do that.
hard.
So I like spent all last night, like tossing and turning high, and I think being high like exasperated that. So I'm like, I'm probably gonna not smoke weed for a couple.
Yeah, and like honestly, I don't smoke often at all, but sometimes, I get a wild hair up my ass and I'm like, oh, I'll smoke a little, and then I freak out like that and I'm laying in bed. I get up to get food to comfort me.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that.
No, and it's a great distraction because then you eat and then you totally forget about whatever you're thinking about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at like dodging that because of therapy. I can like see an anxious thought. And I'm like, oh, this is just anxiety. Like you're
Yeah.
But when it's like, no, you do need to get up early. There's like no arguing with that thought because you're like,
Right.
that's 10 minutes less of sleep. That's 20 minutes less.
Yeah. Why did you wait? One more thing about that. I feel like guys don't take photos on bachelor trips, but you're gonna have this like tight little body, and you'd be like, guys, group photo.
That's the really funny part because I'm so anti. Look, gay dudes, women, lesbian, show off your body. Straight guys showing off their body, I got a real problem with. Especially comics, because I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be funny, and you're posting these like sexy shirtless pictures. So I'm not going to like. I will get some that like maybe look kind of casual that I could like put in a dating profile.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, but I'm definitely not gonna like post on my Instagram like
thirst traps.
Yeah, because I just think it's so like.
No, you gotta have the memories.
Yeah.
You gotta remember when you were, young and.
Oh yeah.
in shape.
Well, it's also like I grew up where like I think because I never had abs, whenever somebody took their shirt off, I called them a douchebag.
Oh yeah, you have that thing I don't have.
Yeah.
You dick.
Yeah, I was like, you're a fucking douchebag, and I would win arguments about it because I'd be like, this guy's a douche. How do you put your shirt on, dude? and then
Embarrassing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know what this guy's deal is. So now I'm like so against doing that, so I can't like because people are like, dude, you got to post a picture on Instagram. I'm like, no, I don't.
Nah, come on, you gotta post a group, make it a group pic.
I will say this: I'm really hoping somebody like stories me doing something funny, or my shirt happens to be off, and I'm like, oops.
Like, look how funny I'm being.
Yeah. Oh, what do you know? My shirt's also off. Yeah.
Oh my god, amazing. Okay, so you mentioned a few times that you've been in therapy. When did you get into therapy, and why?
So I got into therapy in college because I had no idea I had OCD. And then like, so if you don't know how it works for the listeners, you seem like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you've had OCD people on, but or do you have it or do you?
Undiagnosed.
Yeah, it is like it's a fucking it's definitely like a spectrum. It's like tangled headphones. It's not like something you're either born with or not. It's like what it is your brain reacts to anxiety by doing certain things. And when you do those things, you actually make the anxiety worse.
Yes.
So it's like, people are scared. Everybody has intrusive thoughts. You see a balcony, you're like, what if I jumped off the balcony?
Yeah.
Some people make the decision to now avoid balconies, which exasperates the fear of balconies because it makes you feel good briefly, but in the long term, it actually freaks you out to the point where now you're walking down the street and a balcony now gives you anxiety.
Yes.
So I was doing a lot of cocaine in college.
As one does in college, for sure.
Yeah, not like an insane amount, but I'd probably do it like on weekends. And then I had exams, so I did a bunch of Adderall, didn't sleep, went out partying, did coke till 8 a.m. And then my brain was just like, no. Like it was just like, it started freaking out. And I had like intrusive thoughts that I was going to like punch my mom in the face, which everybody just has like.
Yeah.
Like everybody sees a baby, they're like, what if I slapped it? But you go, I wouldn't slap it. But somebody with OCD is like, why am I having this thought?
Yeah.
That means I'm like a bad person.
I'm capable.
Yeah, so I started like fully freaking out to a crazy degree. I was like taking knives in my house and like hiding them in the garage because like, what if I go crazy and like do this? And then it was like my girlfriend came to visit and I was like, you have to lock yourself in your room because like, what if I go crazy? And this is like, I don't even like get in fights. Like this is not at all who I am. But I think that's why it freaks you out because your brain goes like, oh, why am I having this thought? Does this mean? Right. But it's not even like a real urge. It's like the opposite of what you want to do. So then it just got so bad that I was like, all right, I got to see a fucking like therapist. And then my therapist is like my friend one of my friends had OCD, so I asked him a little about it. And then it started to sound like what I had going on.
Yeah.
And then like, I started to like go to therapy, and it just like it's such a fixable thing.
For some people, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is like it depends on how far you like.
Yeah, how far along you are. Or
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even along, just like I don't know, your capacity to manage that anxiety.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's like I think it's so much like tangled headphones where it's like you could
Yeah.
have a bunch of knots and it's like it's a fixable thing. But I had it where like I went to therapy and then and it happened more than like I had probably like 3 like kind of big OCD freakouts, but like now it's like it can't like really get like I'll start to notice it and then I'm like that's what it is. So like now I go to therapy like once a month.
Oh, nice. Maintenance.
Yeah.
Maintenance phase.
Yeah, but I was going for years, and then like basically she just like describes to me. She's like, "That's an OCD thought. That's not really."
So you're better at identifying it.
Yeah, and it's like one of the things too is like if I saw trash on the ground, I would be like, "All right, well, if I'm a good person, I'll go pick up that trash and put it in the trash can," which is insane to do in New York City because I would just become like a
Trash picker.
an 80-year-old Chinese woman with like 2
Yeah.
bags of trash.
You're like, I can make 5 cents if I pick up this
Each of
can.
these, yeah. But so like now, like sometimes I'll just like drop something on the ground and then just like walk away because it's like better for me to like.
Yeah.
You have to do exposure, so you have to do the thing that makes you scary. So I have to go. Maybe I am a piece of shit, and I just dropped
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh my god! And then some Bushwick bitch is like litter bug.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm in
Screaming at
therapy.
you.
I'm trying to fix this.
It's just 2 mentally ill people screaming at each other.
Yeah, just complete insanity. Well, it's funny when I traced it back with religion because like the funniest was when I was a kid, I would masturbate and occasionally I'd have bad luck and I'd be like, oh well, it's because I
Yeah, 'cause I
masturbated.
did that, yeah.
God's like punishing me. And then it became a numbers thing because I'd occasionally have good luck. So I was like, if it's an even amount of times,
Yeah.
it's good. So if I did 1, I had to do 2. If I did 3, I had to go 4. And then I had 1 week where I kept like, or it was like a month, I kept failing tests. And I eventually put it together that I'm failing because I'm just spending the whole day masturbating. And I'm not looking at the text. It's nothing to do with God.
Like I have to get to an even number.
Yeah, it's like, no, you just open the textbook and quit jerking off.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's like pretty like, yeah, now it's, I'll get it with like little things. Like with podcasting, it was a lot where like you say something and you ever say something fucked up on a podcast and you picture like one person in your life? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Awful.
I had that so much. I was like, oh God, my fucking uncle's going to hate that
Mm-hmm.
one. And then, but then you got to do the things that make you anxious because then your brain goes, whatever, I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
So after hours of podcast, now it's like, but Joe's great at he makes me so uncomfortable sometimes.
Oh, so uncomfortable because so much of what he says, like I have a good like Joe detector, so I know when he's joking.
I have no
And it's
I do now.
so
Now I know.
funny
Yeah.
seeing people like legitimately think he's like talking it like in complete earnest. You know,
Yeah.
like I have so many people that is like, does Joe really have kids? I'm like, no.
That's
Joe
my
does not have
favorite
kids."
one.
For a while, he was running around telling people I was pregnant. Like he like he's so good with what you just mentioned, like that where it's I so relate to of like I need this like exposure therapy.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I had another comic on here who spoke very candidly about OCD. You know Mike Bermonti?
Oh, me and Bramante have had some sit downs.
Oh, the best. Like yeah,
we've had some like I'm like, hey, what the fuck is going on? And then he's like talking through like OCD stuff. Yeah.
amazing. So he came on the show and he told me something that stuck with me that helped with that podcast anxiety, we can call it. He goes, you can't live a public life in private.
Yeah.
And that has completely helped me. And I still deal with this, you know, fear and anxiety of feeling completely naked because
Yeah.
I have a literal public place that you can go, multiple platforms where you can like download every thought I've had because I'm talking about it into a microphone. And like maybe that was my thought that day and not how I feel 100% of the
Yeah.
time. And it's just like, oh my God, so anxiety inducing. But yeah, the exposure therapy is the worst therapy because it's like the only
Oh, it's
way
terrifying,
out
yeah.
is through.
Yeah.
The
But
worst.
like Joe has. It's like I've obviously said bad things on my podcast jokingly, but like Joe, it's first off, it's made me a better podcaster.
Yeah.
Because I have to learn how to go with his riff in my
Yes, and
in my way too, where it's like I can't now just do whatever I have to do my version of like. And he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
And the comments are like, he's so fucking funny. Keep having him on. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna lose up because you just freak out. But what was I saying? Yeah, no, it's one of those things where like I also realized this too. I was like, you know, it's so cool because I said something like, I don't know, I like open up about being like racist about something on my podcast. I was like, yeah, I had this like racist thought or whatever. And then my producer was like, one day he's like, do you want me to cut it out? And I was like, no. I was like, because I'm gonna have like grandkids one day, and I want them to know it's gonna be cool for them to be like, oh, this is what people thought, and this is how my great grandfather thought.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that too, where it's like, because part of with comedy is like, I'm not trying to be like, we're free thinkers. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. But like, you know, part of it is like examining thoughts and being open and honest about like a weird thought that you had. And like the fact that you're bringing it to the table of like, oh, I had this like racist thought. It's like, you're not a racist, but you had this thought and like you're, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like, you know, you're, the complexes of like what we think about, like of like the way we see things and perceive things, is like very vulnerable to put out on the internet.
Yeah, well, 100%. And I think the thing with it too, I realized is like, okay, well, there's a lot of comedy where you can be like, I'm a good person, and that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
But you're actually doing, I think, more like, not that any of it's really got moral gravity, because I don't really believe it does. But in some ways, you're actually making people feel better about themselves when you're exposing you being like having a bad thought. Because like everybody's like, oh, I don't want to put out like negative thoughts out there. But it's like, yeah, but you share your negative thoughts, and then those people that have negative thoughts feel less alone out there.
Yeah, and then we can have discourse and discussion.
Yeah. It's like you hear somebody say something, you're like, oh shit, I've thought that thing too. And then you're like, oh, instead of just being like, I fucking never had a racist thought in my life.
Right, totally. And it's like, it's normal.
Yeah.
You know, we're all conditioned in certain ways, and so we have certain thoughts. Like I've oh my God, I've changed my opinion like 1,000 times from when I was like a weird teenager that like, you know, I don't even know about what, but like you learn. That's growth. That's
you were a Nazi as a
evolution.
teenager, I heard.
But also being weird and cagey about it, people could think that, you know?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, weird.
Yeah, well, that's why it does piss me off. People are like, nobody changes their mind on things. I'm like, I've changed my mind 1,000 times.
Hard do not agree with that. Nobody changes their mind about things. Like, yes, they do.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise I'd still be a registered Republican.
Yeah.
Like, not a joke.
Yeah, I think I don't vote anymore, but I registered Republican, I think, in the last one, because this is how dumb I was. I was like, what I'll do is I'll vote for the guy running against Donald Trump as Republican. I didn't realize that like doesn't matter, and I was like, that's what I'll do. And then I realized, and I just didn't.
You thought you were doing like an individual protest.
Yeah, I was like, I'll register. From the inside, I'll vote against him.
And they're like, oh, another white man. This is why the news is like, you know, 80% of white men are registered.
Oh yeah, it's just like me. Like, no, I'm gonna. I figured out this little trick.
Switcheroo.
Yeah.
No, I actually had that pretty recently where I'm like, I've been burned before when it comes to declaring political parties. So I'm going to be not non-denominational, but I'm just going to be registered without a party.
Yeah. And then you can't vote in the primary.
And then you can't vote in the primary. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. I've only voted for female presidents. I voted for Hillary Clinton, and I voted for Joe Georgeson, like the libertarian lady.
Yeah.
And I just didn't vote the last one, which is so funny because I've only voted twice, and it's like,
damn, you could have gone three-peat.
Oh yeah.
Well, 3 defeat.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just one of those things where I was like, I don't know. For now, I'm kind of like withdrawing from. I don't know. It's like I'm always like trying to learn and listen, but like the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah.
So it feels weird for me to like get super involved in politics, because I'm like, I don't know, I still have so much to learn as a person, and the more I learn, I'm like, oh, there's so much like shit I don't even know. It's like, I don't know, you realize you're like, this bill is doing this and like,
yeah.
I've never read a fucking bill in my life.
I just know what the people on TikTok tell me.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's skewed. Oh man, that was great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it a ton.
Yeah, super fun. I'm gonna cut out all the things that make me scared. Okay, amazing. Tell people where to follow you.
Michael Good Comedy on Instagram. If you want me to follow you back, say you heard me on here and I'll follow you back.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I have to unfollow some people still because I follow the maximum amount of people you can follow.
Really?
But not all of them follow me back, so I'm going through slowly and
yeah.
unfollowing. But if you follow me, I'll follow you back, absolutely.
My ratio is awful.
Yeah, well, I just don't care about that. I'm like, I only use Explore anyways, so I follow a bunch of random people. But occasionally I'll be on my thing. I'm like, who the fuck am I following?
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael Good Comedy and then Morning Good Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. And if you want to just not have me follow you back, just follow me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I hate that. Like, I feel like even like non-entertainment people, Joe's home. I feel like even non-entertainment people worry about their ratios. So they want that follow back. I'm like, why do you care? You're not trying to make money off of your following.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
cool.
that's how I feel about I'll never hide my likes.
I'll never hide my
You're
likes.
such a coward. People
I will sit in the fact that this podcast promotion post got 1 like.
Yeah.
I will sit in it.
Yeah, because like you're just admitting to people how scared you are. by
Yes,
being like,
no.
Yeah.
No. Talk shit. It gives me more shares.
Yeah, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. All right. Everywhere to find Michael will be in the description of the show notes. And until next week, we'll talk to you. Bye.